Oh, we're on, eh? I was having some eggs, eh? Okay, today, folks, this is Steve, eh? Not in Canada, in Budapest, Hungary, in Cafe Pia. This is the little window out the window there. So you got cars and everything in Hungary, eh? I got my little scrambled eggs, eh? Cappuccino, eh? I'm very continental, you see, eh? There's the outside the door. It's very exciting here, eh? This is upstairs. It's kind of like a little office I claimed. If I get here early enough, I can just, oops, shit, sorry. Okay, I can take over this little room. It's really good, eh? Anyways, today we're going to talk about self-digging. Now this is aimed mostly at the theta healing type of people, eh? Because in the theta healing, eh, we do something called digging. We ask the client a lot of weird questions, eh, to kind of access what's really going on in their subconscious, not what they think up here, eh? Because up here and down here, two different things a lot of the time. We can believe one thing here and something completely different here that shocks the hell out of us, eh? It's amazing. Anyways, we're complex creatures, eh? For sure. So I got asked about self-digging. It's really hard to do self-digging. I know. I agree. It's really a pain in the ass sometimes, eh? Now, we're going to talk about a couple of little tricks with self-digging. Because it can, and at the end of the little video, eh? We'll do some downloads and stuff, eh? Okay. Let me tell you a little story. I had this guy who did something to one of my friends, eh? Or at least I perceived it that way, that he did something. And I got all pissed off. And so I realized, fortunately, through the grace of God, of course, that I am responsible for my feelings about this. And I needed to do some digging on what is it about this guy, eh, that pissed me off, eh, that caused me to lose my serenity. So I started pretending. Here's the how-to. You just ask yourself the same questions, eh, that you would ask somebody else. But part of the trick is to separate yourself in your mind, eh, from yourself. So a couple of simple little tricks. First, pretend that another version of you is sitting in a chair across from you, eh? That's right. You do a little pretend game as if you have an imaginary friend that looks just like you, eh? For sure. Okay. In fact, sometimes if I'm really struggling, I literally get a chair and put it across from me and imagine somebody sitting there. Now, if you're one of those crazy people, you have one of those dolls, eh? You can stick the doll in the chair and put a little sign on it and said Steve or whatever your name is. I mean, it wouldn't help much to try and dig on Steve if you're not Steve, eh? Okay. But literally, either in your imagination or physically, imagine that you're sitting across from yourself. And start asking yourself the same question as if you're not asking yourself. Ask, or here's an even better way. Instead of visualizing yourself, eh, visualize somebody in front of you that has exactly the same problem, eh, as if you did, but pretend you don't have the problem, eh. So just kind of like, like ask them the questions in your imagination, and let your imagination pretend to give you answers, eh. Now, we think that accessing these subconscious stuff and getting information has to be very dramatic, eh, and very clear. Like if we're talking, we're getting information and we're going to our angels or our masters or our friends and relatives that are all dead, eh, or God or the creator, eh, we think it's supposed to be, hello, this is the creator. Okay, I'm speaking to you very clearly and it's impossible for you to not hear me. It's really silly, eh? It's not like that most of the time, eh? It usually feels like a little, your own imagination, your own self making stuff up. Because we think it should sound very different, eh, than what our imagination sounds like. But our imagination is the mechanism to get this information. And so with digging for yourself, you pretend either you're sitting in front of yourself or you're pretending that somebody else is sitting in front of you that has exactly the same question, so that you pretend you're not digging on yourself, eh? You pretend you're digging on somebody else. And then they're talking to you telepathically, but it sounds just like your imagination. It sounds like you're making shit up, eh? For sure. Okay. So the less confident you are, about the answers you get, usually it's actually the best answers, The weird stuff that doesn't make any sense to you, that you're just making some bullshit up, to try and get yourself off your own back, that's the good thing. So just start having a pretend imaginary conversation, Don't worry if the answers you think you get are ones you think they should be, The trick is to just allow whatever comes and stay in the process, We've got to talk about staying in the process in a moment, Just keep on asking yourself questions and don't get frustrated. Yeah, that's like telling a pitcher, don't throw a curveball. And of course, all his brain hears is curveball. Don't get frustrated. And then your brain's just going to hear, oh, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated. Sorry about that, My mistake, So just when you're thinking you're fooling yourself, that's okay. It doesn't matter, Just learn to be comfortable, with uncertainty. Be comfortable with the possibility, that you're not getting the exact answers that you think you should be. Because your brain, the left brain, the conscious brain, would have figured it out, if everything it knew was right, So when the left brain, and you're asking yourself these questions, and it sounds like you're just making shit up, and your left brain goes, oh, that's bullshit, Don't worry about it. Say, you're right, Mr. Left Brain, it is bullshit, but let's just pretend, okay? We're going to just go with this for fun and see what weird shit comes up, because something's going to come up from your subconscious, because your subconscious knows the real truth. So just getting the left brain to relax and not think it has to be right and not have to judge what's coming up from the subconscious, Okay, posers, this is really good stuff, So imagine yourself in front of yourself, or imagine somebody else that has exactly the same problem in front of you. Start asking the questions. Okay, Stevie boy, now what would be the worst thing that if you weren't pissed off at this asshole who didn't treat your friends correctly, and start letting the answers come, and just stick with something simple, Something simple like, okay, what's the good thing about not getting pissed off? What's the good thing about getting pissed off? How does it serve me, And just follow it down, and just keep on asking, how does it serve me? Ask yourself, how does it serve me? It's just like a regular digging session, Okay, how does it serve me? What's the good part about getting pissed off? Or what's the good part about what the problem is? What's the bad part about what the problem is? And let your imagination give you bullshit answers. If you think they're bullshit answers, that's okay. Beauty, hoser. Bullshit answers rock, Okay, don't judge the bullshit answers. Just let the subconscious, whether it's exactly right or not, all the time, doesn't matter, give you something, And eventually, when you reach a balance, of not telling the left brain, the conscious brain, it's wrong, you don't criticize the left brain, You don't criticize the intellect or the conscious brain, because that's the ego stuff. And so we want to say, oh my God, you're right, That was a stupid answer. It couldn't possibly be right. But we'll just play the game for fun, even though we all know that you're right, left brain. And this can't be the possible answer. And we really should quit, For sure, of course we should quit, Always agree with your ego, Allow your ego to think it's in charge, But just get it to play the game. And then as it gets comfortable going, okay, we'll play the game, ha, 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 ha. And then it knows that you're not going to try and make it do something it doesn't want to do. You're not going to try and tell the ego that thinks it knows all the answers, that it's wrong. The same principle applies with real people too, When they start challenging you, at least for me, this is only my style, I don't tell them wrong. I agree with them, I think, oh my God, you're right, There is nothing wrong with this. But let's just play the game for fun, let's just make it not serious for a couple of minutes, even though we want to kind of help you, because of course we're going to do that. But you're right. You're absolutely right, eh? So you tell your own self, oh, I know that is bullshit, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that answer that just came from my subconscious, this stupid game Steve's telling me to play, have me face me sitting in my own chair, that's ridiculous. But we play the game anyways. And then eventually, as you just play the game and stay in the process, then it gets easier. And then the real good stuff starts showing up. And you're starting to have realizations, about what's really going on the unconscious level that you can access. You get visions and memories, about being a child or past life shit, or whatever. And the subconscious starts to process and present because it's not being shut down by the left brain, who thinks it's always right. Of course it is. It's always right. Right, okay, now, hosers. That's one part of it, The other part of it is you're gonna, because you're digging into your own shit, another part of you wants to distract you. The same guy, the guy got all pissed off, because he was a moron, and he did stupid things to my friend in the name of trying to help them. What my discomfort with him was something about myself, I didn't want to face something, and I didn't want to look at something in myself. He wasn't showing me exactly what my problem was, but he was triggering something else completely separate from him or anything else. And a part of me, didn't want to look at that, So it took about 2 hours of digging on myself, I kept on getting pissed off, and then I kept on getting distracted, and I'd go start to do something else, And then I go, oh, wait a minute, I haven't finished. And I realized, oh, shit, I just distracted myself. Holy shit, Okay, let's go back, and start asking the questions again. And I would distract myself, and then I would come back. And then I would distract myself, and then I would come back. And what could have taken 15 to 20 minutes took 2 hours, But for whatever reason, I guess it meant enough to me to actually stay with this and keep on bringing my focus back to the goal of finding out what the real issue is, on the bottom. So one of the things that makes it difficult, to self-dig is you don't have somebody else bringing your attention back to the thing. You're going to distract yourself, and you believe yourself. I mean, I sometimes start to believe the actual physical clients, when they start to distract me and try and take me down a different path, because I'm getting to the real juicy bottom of it. So it takes a lot of self-discipline, sometimes, to continue to bring yourself back when you distract yourself or you get pissed off, or you what's the word, It's a really good word, It's when you, you rationalize things, That's the left brain, right, left, yeah, left brain, Okay, so part of it is discipline. Part of it is getting your left brain out of the way, and part of it is giving your vision something to play with, like having yourself sit on the other side, so you're not so in yourself you get lost, You kind of separate yourself, so it's as if you're actually digging on somebody else, It's just they're answering in your imagination. And when your imagination gives you a weird answer that you think is bullshit, it's okay. Just let it come. But keep on asking the questions, and eventually it'll happen. Okay. Geez, I've talked a lot. Holy cow. Okay, let's give you some downloads, We're going to teach you how and what it feels like, to be comfortable with not knowing the answers. That it's safe for you to get into the bottom of your stuff, that you know how, and you do have the self-discipline that because you will do this, almost certainly, when you go off focus and start distracting yourself, that you just bring yourself back. No big deal, It's nothing special, Everybody does it. You're not a moron. Just because you're distracting, you're not a moron. Because you've gone into something that's really uncomfortable, and another part of you is trying to fucking make you stop doing it because it thinks it's the way to make you safe, Okay, so let's give you those downloads, Here we go. Let's give you the 7-plane version, the highest perspective and understanding of what self-digging really is and why it's safe and powerful and fun, eh? And teach you how and what it feels like to be really super fun, eh? To dig on yourself and just to make it a game, and how and what it feels like to make it a game. Thank you very much. That's a good one, eh? Here we go. Incoming. Thank you, eh? Beauty downloads creator. You rock, eh? Okay, here we go. What else, eh? There's got to be another download. This is not that. Hold on, let's just ask again. Here we go. And we're going to teach you how and what it feels like and why it can be safe for you to know who and what you really are and what you're about and where you came from and why you created the things you created, okay? So let's just give you that one. Everybody say yes for all the downloads, eh? Here we go. Okay, well, I've talked enough now, okay? And sometimes just get somebody else to help you, eh? I had this one day, I was working on one belief, eh? 3 days. I couldn't find the bloody belief, eh? I dig and I dig and I dig and that's just nothing. And finally, I call one of my friends, I say, hey dude, I'm doing this digging, self-digging, eh, on this thing. And here's what it is, and I can't find it, it's really hard. This person, he asked me 2 questions, eh? And he says, okay, test this one. Click, click, click. I test yes to the belief he found, eh? Can I change that, eh? And he said, I go, okay, Hoser, for sure, eh? He changes the belief and says, okay, now go test the belief you couldn't change. Okay. So I tested the belief that wouldn't change for 3 days, eh? Poof, it was gone. Amazing, eh? About a half a minute, poof, instead of 3 days. So sometimes just ask for some help. Nothing wrong with that. Let's teach you how and what it feels like to be okay occasionally to ask for help. When to ask for help, that it's possible for ask for help, and who to know that you know who to ask for help, and that you're guided to naturally be guided, sometimes without even asking, to have the right person, the right experience, the right perspective just plop into your face, eh? So it just is natural without you having to ask some of the time. But sometimes you gotta ask, eh? Okay, here we go. Let's give you that one. Here we go. Okay, beauty hoser. All right, thanks for the question, eh? Talk to you later. Bye.